Welcome to Tehachapod, the City of Tehachapi's podcast, where we share conversations with local leaders, business owners, and community members. Don't miss an episode. Be sure to follow and subscribe to learn something new and discover ways to get involved in our community.
Hello and welcome back to Tehachapod. This is Bailey Damian, joined by my co-host, Nick Tanaka. How you doing, Nick?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Well, we have two ladies in here. We have Board Director Madeline and Director Meg from Calm Zoo. How are you doing, ladies?
We're doing wonderful. Yeah, I am a board member. I mean, I'm not directing anything, just to be clear, but I am a proud board member for the last several years for Calm.
Correct?
Yeah, I'm a senior director of Calm, but I've been out there for almost 6 years now. So
Wow.
I know it's been a journey for sure.
Yeah, well, thank you for coming in, and we're super excited to dive a little bit deeper into Calm Zoo. It's located in Bakersfield, California. Do you know how long has Calm Zoo been in Bakersfield for, when it first started?
We're celebrating our 43rd birthday. So
Wow.
our gates opened in 1983 and have been running strong ever since.
Wow. You guys mentioned a 20-year master plan. Either of you want to dive a little deeper into that?
Sure, I can jump into that. So we've been working for the last year or so to put this out to the public, but we've been working on a 20-year master plan. And essentially what that is a 40-acre expansion of our current facility. So we're on 14 established acres. So we've been working with other companies that do zoo design and things like that, and also our community to see what they want. And so we've been putting together a 20-year master plan and have really been putting that to the public for a 40-acre expansion.
And what kind of new animals would you be bringing into the Calm Zoo?
Yeah, so some of the hot ticket animals are grizzly bear, which used to be native to California, and then we booted them out. And then following, we'll have some wolves as well, tule elk, bison, pronghorn, several new species of all of our native animals. So we are sticking to native to California animals, which is what Calm Zoo is all about. It's the California Living Museum. And so we're all about California native animals. We'll also be getting a lot of new guest amenities too. So a cafe for folks that are out there, and new kind of restrooms. If you're familiar with Calm, we have one bathroom, so we're going to be expanding upon that. A lot of creature comforts, and then really expanding upon all of the habitats that we have. Our current animals will all get new habitats and open things like that.
Are you expanding the footprint at all?
Yeah, so right now we're on 14 established acres, and then this will be an additional 40 acres to the west.
Wow.
So if you're familiar with Calm, where Calm Zoo sits, the acreage between Calm and the soccer park is 40 acres. So we'll have all of that to play with, and we have another 25 acres to the east that we have yet to even start as well. So our footprint as a whole has the potential for about 67 acres.
And what kind of animals do you guys have at the zoo presently?
Yeah, so we have all California native animals and plants. Every plant out there is also native to California. So we have bears, black bear, bobcats, mountain lions, foxes, several different species of foxes. The endangered San Joaquin kit fox is there. Desert bighorn sheep. We also have an entire reptile house, which is a mix of venomous animals and non-venomous reptiles, excuse me. We also have the California Coast Room. So we've got kind of a chance for kiddos who haven't been out to the ocean before. They've got a touch tank and a tide pool and jellyfish and all of those things. And then a bunch of birds of prey as well. I always tend to forget those guys. I've got the California condor, red-shouldered hawks, red-tailed hawks, eagles.
The list goes on.
The list goes on and on. I could go forever. But yeah, a whole variety, because our state is so awesome. We've got such a huge footprint. So we've got a lot of different animals for sure.
Yeah, we were talking upstairs with Rachel, our coworker, and she goes, "Oh my gosh, do they have a petting zoo?" And we were wondering, I'm like, I don't know, actually, do they have a section for a petting zoo?
We do. We have the farm, and so we've got several goats over there, a donkey. Our sulcata tortoise Henry is over there, some chickens, some sheep, things like that. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. And I think one of the cool parts of the expansion is going to be the area for our birds of prey, and how it's going to be presented is just really exciting. Can you tell us about how that's going to look, Meg? You're much better at explaining it than I am.
So one of the biggest additions we're going to have is our California condors. We have 2 of those boys right now. They're part of the recovery program for those. And so essentially we're going to be creating these huge walkout aviaries for the condors to be able to be in. And then folks will have the ability to actually walk through that habitat and see a 9.5-foot wingspan of a condor flying over them, which will be really cool. The next to that is another large aviary that'll house our birds of prey, depending on what we have at the time. Because our species, how we acquire animals, we never take anything out of the wild. that really goes against everything we stand for. So essentially, animals that are brought to us are ones that can't be released back out into the wild, whether they are injured, orphaned, abandoned, or they came from another zoo and wouldn't survive in the wild. And so the other aviary, depending on the species we have at the time, will contain those birds.
Yeah, it's really exciting. So many exciting things. And I love that we're really keeping the heart of what Calm is with that native animal and native plant and serving the community, the schools. It's such an educational gem for all of our students to come out there and get to learn hands-on and face-to-face with these animals, and the touch tank for kiddos who have never made it to the coast. You know, I think we take for granted that, oh, we're right here, but there are a lot of students who don't make trips to the beach on a regular basis, if ever. So this is such a cool thing for them to get to do and to get to learn up close with these animals and species.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember going to a field trip at Calm, and I remember thinking like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. That's basically in our backyard. You would have never think that there's a zoo out there.
40-minute drive from here. It's not bad at all.
No, and you make up a good point about the coastal experience. Not a lot of kids can go to the coast, which I think that's amazing to offer that experience.
And you guys provide tours as well for like homeschool kids and that sort of stuff?
So we do a lot of field trips. We have over 25,000 students that come through our gates every year. On occasion, I can do a tour with folks, but a lot of it we have, curriculum and things like that folks utilize when they come out. And so they get to do a self-guided tour through the zoo. One of my biggest things with our expansion, though, is to do a lot more of those behind-the-scenes tours so folks can see our wildlife rehabilitation center and things like that. So a lot of that we haven't talked about, but as part of expanding that and letting folks be part of that as well.
What are your hours?
So we are Tuesday through Sunday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Okay.
And people are always interested in the rehabilitation portion of Calm because that was a big part of why Calm started, right?
Yeah, so we currently mainly just work with oiled wildlife and endangered species. We have the wonderful Wildlife Care Clinic. And the reason behind that has to do with why we want to do the expansion. We've done wildlife rehabilitation for decades, and our infrastructure needs some zhuzhing, as our curator says. She calls it the zhuzh. We need new flight aviaries. So, for example, if I have a great horned owl that comes in, I have to test it 3 different times that it can catch a live rodent before I can release it, because one of the worst things you could do is rehabilitate an animal only to have it, suffer in the wild because it can't hunt. And so we need new flight aviaries as part of that. And so as we start building new infrastructure for the master plan, we can start taking in more of those animals, those songbirds, and all these different native California animals that need that support, because our goal is to get them back out into the wild and support the ecosystem. So we'll be able to do that as well. And then part of that entire area is actually in a new commissary. So we do all the kitchen work for the animals. The animals that call Come Home have a new kitchen. And then above that, I'm super excited about is our intern housing. So my goal is to actually let folks that are post-secondary education that need an internship have the ability to live on site and be part of that rehabilitation program as well. I did my internship and was able to live on site, and it worked out great because they got like 70 hours a week of work out of me. But
Wow.
I would never do that to our interns. But having lived that, I knew how critical it was to be able to be there and do overnight support and help animals. We have right now we have a baby skunk, and that needs to be fed. It's the cutest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. We're rules for rehab. We have to treat them as a wild animal, but like secretly, I'm like, oh my god, you're the cutest.
I just want to cuddle you,
It's so cute. But those required feeding every 2 hours. And so when you have interns that can come through and be able to say, hey, I'm on the night shift and I can take care of those animals. So everything we're doing is with native species in mind. And then also to keep our folks local that want to stay here, but they don't have the opportunity to be able to be part of that education. They want to be biologists and zoologists and all of those things. And so they end up having to go far out to get that. And I'm sure my parents would have loved if I had stayed long after I graduated. I ended up traveling all over and things like that. But
Where did you intern at?
in a wildlife rehabilitation center in Texas.
Oh, Texas. Okay.
And then I worked at other zoos. So I was also a hoofstock curator in Georgia and spent a lot of time in Colorado working with kids and animals and just kind of all over. And it brought me back home. So I grew up here and got to come back in 2020.
Yeah. That's awesome. So did you bring that internship idea from Texas, or is that pretty common? It's just not within Bakersfield's
It's pretty common in wildlife rehab centers to be able to have, those deep internship practices. We do take interns, but they're just during the day.
Okay.
And so it's a little bit of that, and then just a little bit of what the need is for the zoo and also for our post-secondary graduates.
Yeah, Megan and I are both Kern County natives, and I just love the passion and the expertise that she brings to Calm, and she just has this incredible vision for the future. And she's talking about the interns and the possibility of keeping kids here local who want to follow in that sort of career path. My middle son, Noah, wants to be a zoologist and loves animals, and so I think that's just really exciting to have that sort of training possible for all of our local kids.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's in our backyard. You guys say you're both from Tehachapi.
Both from Kern County.
Both from Kern County. I mean, how can someone get involved if they are interested in maybe a potential internship or if they just want to volunteer their time? Is that something they can do? And if so, do they just head to their website? Do they give you a call?
If you go to calmzoo.org/volunteers or click the volunteer tab, we actually have a class coming up here in the next, I think, week. But you could volunteer to work in our animal care department if you're 16 years and older, where you work alongside our animal care team. Part of that is also with our vet team as well. So we have a full-time veterinarian and a full-time registered veterinary technician. And so you have the ability to work alongside them as well if that's the track that you want to go. We also have a cleanup volunteer. So we have 14 acres and a lot of trees and a lot of leaves and a lot of weeds. And we do as much as we can environmentally wise not to, take care of those naturally. And so we love having volunteers come out and help clean those things up. We also have guest service volunteers. So those of you who are interested, or even if you're retired and you're finding yourself with some extra time on your hands, it's really good to come out and actually you'll be the docent for like the coast room. So when the kids come in, you're the one saying, hey, this is a sea cucumber and this is an anemone and this is what they do, and kind of helping connect kids with wildlife.
That's great. And then I also noticed on your website that you guys have a spring fling coming up. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so we have spring fling coming up. I think it's the last week of March.
Okay.
The 31st through April 4th.
There you go. See, I worked there. I promise. There's so many dates. So that has been our tradition. Our goal is really just to welcome spring. It's gorgeous out of the zoo right now. We're surrounded by the river and the Sierra Nevadas, and everything is just blooming and blossoming. And so we invite the public out to come out. We have activities for kids, booths for them to do. They can do some planting and things like that, and really just embrace the spring that's on its way.
And the geography out there is just so gorgeous. The rolling Basque Hills that, if I'm correct, they only exist here and then in Spain. This is the only two places that this geography exists. Am I right about that?
I mean, it sounds good.
Oh, okay.
You're right. No, if you compare like our topography to other areas, it's really interesting to see like, we don't have to go to Spain, and we could do it right here. We got a bunch of wineries up here. Let's create Spain up here. We have that. And then what's really great about Calm is that in the 80s, there wasn't a single tree out on that property. Everything was volunteer built. So Mike Hopkins was a local teacher, and his kiddo asked him, why don't we have a zoo? And his response was, let's build one, which is phenomenal. Like, good dad points for that one. But there was not a stitch of anything out there. And so on the backs of volunteers, every single tree was planted. Everything that you see now, every habitat that was built over time has been part of that. And then in 95, Kern County Superintendent of Schools also took over our operations. And so now we get to really connect education and kiddos and see those kiddos through our gates to kind of tie it all together.
Yeah. And so as May's talking about, we were built over 40 years ago by volunteers. So as you can imagine, we need some zhuzhing, as she was saying. And when I came on board with the board 3 or 4 years ago, I can't remember how long it has been, but they had recently completed this master plan, this 20-year master plan. It was so exciting. But the question was, how are we going to make this happen? There's a big price tag with the 20-year master plan. And so we are exploring some different ways. We have worked with the Fresno Chaffee Zoo, just kind of looking at their playbook, because everyone's familiar with the Fresno Chaffee Zoo. It's an incredible zoo, and they have done some really exciting things over the last few decades, expanding. And one of the things they did is they put forth a sales tax that the community supported, and that helped to fund all of the new exhibits and the expansions that they've done. So right now we are exploring the possibility of putting onto the November ballot a 0.125% sales tax. So right now, all we're doing is we're gathering signatures from registered voters in the community and signing one of these petitions. If you see someone out there, just says, yes, let's put this on the ballot and let's let the community decide. Do they want to support this measure that would then go into funding this 20-year master plan for Calm? Without this measure, we don't really have a timeline for when this 20-year master plan will go into action. we definitely need this to happen. But again, what we're doing right now is just getting signatures for this petition to put it on the ballot. So if you see folks out at Calm, if you are out there and you see folks gathering signatures for a petition, that's what you're doing. You're just allowing democracy to happen and let this go onto the ballot. We need about 30,000 signatures in order to put it on the ballot in November, and time's ticking. We only have a couple more weeks through March and April to get these signatures in order for us to put this on the ballot and then let the voters decide. So again, we have exciting plans for the future, but we've got to figure out how to make this happen. And this is one of the ways that could happen. It's one of the, I would say, most accessible ways currently that we could put this 20-year master plan into action.
If someone wants to support this measure, do you have anyone posted up, let's say at Albertsons and Tehachapi, that they could just go to you and sign that measure, or is it only at Calm Zoo?
Yeah, there's a couple varieties of that. We'll have somebody out at Calm Zoo all of the time. That's part of our 501c4, and that is something that we're working on. But they'll also see them around town as well. And so they vary. They go where people go, right? So varied. A lot of those are in Bakersfield, and we're working on just making that connection happen with Tehachapi as well.
Hey, I live here in Tehachapi, so if you see me around, just ask me if you can sign it, and I will let you. I'll make it happen for you. Yeah, we'll also be, we have the Keep Calm Jamboree, which is a super fun event. This is our 5th annual, and it is so fun. Okay, I'm forgetting the name of the band.
Yachtly
Crew. They're super popular. Yacht rock. People get dressed up. They come out. It is such a good time. Food trucks and wine and beer, and you're at Calm underneath the trees. The weather's always beautiful. That's coming up April 24th, and tickets tend to sell out for this really quickly. We do still have some left, though. So if you want to grab tickets to that, you can plan a fun date night, head down the hill for that, and I'll be out there gathering signatures that night, too.
Yeah, in April, the weather will be perfect, too, in Bakersfield.
Oh, it's
going to be an evening or, yes. Oh,
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a Friday evening.
Sign me up.
It's super fun. It is a good time, for sure.
That's awesome. And then you also, I don't know if you started planning, but holiday lights.
Oh, girl, we never stop. So,
It's a year-round thing.
It's a year-round thing. So actually, we start having conversations in March for the next year. So the team comes in every August and starts setting up. So we are boots on the ground for holiday lights at the zoo in August. So that means from March until August, we are talking holiday lights. I just had a conversation with Teen Challenge today about ordering our Christmas trees. These are all things that are in the works. And so that is something that we get about a month reprieve in January where I don't talk a lick about Christmas, and then I get excited again come March. So.
And it's not in the parking lot anymore, correct?
No, we pivoted that during COVID, just because obviously we couldn't go anywhere near each other, right? That was the rule. So, and so we pivoted that to the parking lot, and now we've been back inside for about 3 years now, and we see about 65,000 people through our gates over the course of 37 nights.
Would you say this is your largest fundraiser?
100%. Yeah, that's our biggest one. And it really just brings in not only just the funding, but my goal as the director is really just to make sure the community gets together. This is a chance for families to get together and really just enjoy things and slow down for a minute. And that's really what I'm all about. That's what Calm is all about, is really just making sure that families get a chance to just slow down and unplug for a little bit. And Holiday Lights is no different. It's like, hey, take a moment with your family, grab some hot chocolate from Teen Challenge, support 2 great organizations, and then just take a breath.
It's literally the name, Calm.
Stay calm.
That's what we try. We try to do, for sure.
And if you've never been to Holiday Lights, I find there are a lot of transplants in Tehachapi, and I meet a lot of friends who had never been before, and I've always encouraged them, you have to check this out. This is a world-class light show, 40 minutes from here. I have friends who would go 2 hours to go to different Christmas activities. It's like, you've really got to check this out, because, from the second you drive down that road, it's already lit up. It's so beautiful. There's the music, the fake snow, the yummy goodies, the train that you can ride, picture opportunities. It's so festive.
Magical.
It's magical. And actually, and Santa's there 100%, and you can take pictures with Santa. So it's so much fun. It's fantastic. So we're way ahead of time talking about Holiday Lights, but mark your calendars.
We're excited.
You definitely want to go. It always opens the Saturday after Thanksgiving.
And it's for a great cause. So
Exactly.
we can't
Everything,
complain.
everything we do benefits the animals in our community. That's again the goal. Save wildlife and bring families together.
That's amazing. Nick, any other questions?
Okay, all of my questions are about crepuscular animals. So
Okay.
when is the best time to be viewing a crepuscular animal.
Wait, what is a crepuscular animal? I think for everyone else out there.
So if I have this correct, crepuscular animals are awake during the morning and the evening. Very specifically, it's like
Dusk and dawn.
Dusk and dawn. So they get the best of both worlds. They get the sunrise, they get the sunset, and when it's hot during noon, I'm just gonna nap. Well, it's too dark outside. I'm just gonna nap. Like my cats are crepuscular. I'm pretty sure. Is that true?
Every cat is different. Cats are just crazy.
Oh, cats are just a different thing.
To each their own.
They do whatever they want to. Okay, so this actually ties into our master plan too, so I think it's a great question. Our animals really are most active. Crepuscular animals are active in the dusk and the dawn. So I get questions all the time, like our possums and our ringtail cats. They're like, do those actually exist? Are they actually in their habitats? I'm like, they're just asleep. They come out for like 10 minutes to eat their food, and they're like, bye, Felicia, I'm going back to bed. But part of the master plan actually is an underground cavern I didn't mention that connects. So we've got the grizzly bear habitats and black bear habitats. I also forgot to mention we have wolves that are coming in too. Yeah.
Oh.
Favorite animal, hands down. Super excited about that. But there's an underground cavern system that you walk through, and what that is going to showcase all of those crepuscular animals and our nocturnal animals. It's going to create those habitats where they think that it's nighttime, so they'll be up and doing their thing. So then you get a chance to kind of get out of the sun if you want to and go through this underground kind of cavern and see those animals in action. So in 8 years, when we go to build that, that's the best time for you to see those animals. But in nature, it's usually at that dusk and dawn. At the zoo, we open at 9. So those ones are usually active till maybe about 10 after they get fed. And then our possums are just, they're out. Yeah.
So you have to make more than one trip to Calm. You could do a lunch trip, but then later on in the month you need to come back for the afternoon, the evening.
Yes,
because you're going to get a whole
summer. Come early. We adjust our hours in the summer, so we're open from 8 to 2 during the summer because our animals don't come out. A lot of our habitats have air conditioning in the back because we want to make sure that our animals are happy and living their best lives. And so the mountain lions are like, I've got air conditioning, and our bears are like, I'm not coming out. It's 15 degrees.
That's how I'd be.
I'm right. And so we get people that are like, I don't see your animals during the summer. I'm like, I promise you, like
They're there.
They're there. We're doing their vet stuff. We're paying the bills to feed them. So somebody's eating all of this food. Come early, especially in the summertime, because that's when they're the most active.
Good to know. All right, anything else we want to touch on?
I don't know. Come on out to Calm. If you haven't visited in a while, come on back and see us. It's always just such a fantastic place for families, a great place to just decompress and unwind and have a good time together.
Meg, anything else you'd like to add?
Well, Maddie just summed it up. That's fantastic. No, if you want to learn more about Calm, go to calmzoo.org. And then, Maddie, what's the website for?
Protect Calm Zoo.
Yes.
So check that out. That has information on our measure and our master plan. It is so exciting to go check out and dream about the future. So go check out what we have planned out at Calm.
Perfect. All right. Well, if you are listening and you have any questions or comments, you can email us at media@tehachapiecityhall.com. Thank you for listening, and we will catch you next time on TeHatchPod.
You've been listening to Tehachapod. If you have a question, a thought, or a suggestion, email media@tehachapiecityhall.com. We'll catch you again soon, right here on Tehachapod.